This is me, a level 1 dungeon quest noob, but in this series, we're gonna be progressing through to the highest dungeon as a completely solo player. But there's a twist. For every dungeon we reach, we have to completely switch classes, changing between both mage and warrior. Will we succeed in this series? Stick around to find out. Now, we're gonna be kind of speedrunning through these dungeons, but ladies and gentlemen, the goal of this episode will definitely be to make it to Pirate Island. And honestly, this stuff will be crazy. Having to switch between both mage and warrior every dungeon will be so interesting. So yeah, for right now, we're a warrior. However, when we hit Winter Outpost, we'll be mage. And also, we leveled up to level 2. Honestly, for these first few dungeons, the progression is going to be super fast. However, things will slow down a lot. But I can guarantee that we will be completing this series. And it will be one of the greatest Noob to Godlies ever created. And we have already made it to the Sand Golem, which is the final boss. And quite literally, we are like already level 4. So to be honest, I'll just put all my points into physical. Yeah, one thing I definitely hate about these early dungeons is how much health the bosses have. But honestly, this one isn't too bad. And just like that, we leveled up to level 5. And also got a battle axe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we get back into runs, I want to talk about something super unique. And that's the fact that I'm progressing through this entire series on an alternate character. And what this will do is it'll give us 30% XP boost, along with a 50% gold gain. So progression in this series will be so much faster. Coupled with the fact that we also have like 60 hours of XP and luck boost. Yeah, we are gonna actually be speedrunning this series. Now, while a lot of you guys could say it's cheating, I really don't think it's cheating, because we're not buying any direct advantages. Yeah, the only thing we're going to be buying is just boosts to make progression not like the slowest thing ever. And speaking of progression, you can see my screen just getting level after level after level. Yeah, we might actually even reach King's Castle in one episode, which will literally be insane. But really, we are already like a third of the way, even more. I think it's like level 30 to get to Winter Outpost, which is very great. But it's definitely going to be nice, you know, getting a lot more XP. Because trust me, in later dungeons, progression is going to get really slow. What's definitely going to be like especially difficult is going to be like getting gear from the dungeons. Because while we level up fast, we're not going to be able to beat the dungeons without very good gear. And especially having to switch classes every single dungeon, that will be brutal. But that should be GG's, and we leveled up. Did we level up twice? Oh my gosh. But yeah, we got absolute trash. And also, there's like this freaking bundle on my screen. No, I'm not paying to win. But man, if we just look into the sunset, which is very like non-existent, we will one day become pro in this series. And trust me, it will be happening. We're gonna go from Desert Temple all the way to the Abyssal Void. So ladies and gentlemen, subscribe for this journey. But really, just a few more levels until Winter Outpost. This is honestly a speed run. But that will be actually crazy when we make it to the second dungeon. And also, we got our very first Greg of the entire series. Yeah, Greg is going to be an absolute godsend for this series because items is going to be the biggest thing we need. Really, items in this series is everything we could possibly want. Because we're going to be leveling up so fast, we're going to need items to be able to match that progression. And defeating Greg, we get... Oh, yo, we got a weapon. Hey, I'll take it. But low-key, we are kind of stacked right now. Yeah, we're still using like Guardian stuff because I got nothing good in Warrior, but hey, it'll do for now. But really, I think like one more game and we're at Winter. And then Pirate Island truly will become the first challenge. I think Winter Outpost is reasonably difficult. However, Pirate Island is just like crazy. The stuff you guys are going to see in this series is really going to be crazy. And for right now, we're just going to be investing all of our points into physical power. However, I really want to save up all of my mage spells and stuff like that because we're going to be switching out Winter. But we are at the final boss with being literal level 20. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, like all of the dungeons kind of got nerfed quite a bit in terms of mob HP and damage. So that's also going to be something that makes this series a lot easier. Yeah, I believe like all dungeons at least got like a 20% health and damage nerf, which is going to be a literal godsend. And we leveled up to level 27, got literal trash. But if we look at the requirements for Winter Outpost, you will see that it's level 30. So man, let's finally make it to this dungeon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be honest, we have basically no mage gear. Really, the best stuff we got is like this blue fireball and also like this kind of mid staff. So really, I am just praying that we can do this dungeon. And truly, like using another character slot is probably like the best thing I could have ever done. I'm normally against using like character slots just because of the fact that you can't play on 2 accounts at the same time or 2 character slots. But honestly, I have enough alt accounts. We've already done 2 other Noob to Godlies. So I'll be willing to take that hit for a bunch more XP. And also, like most cosmetics in the entire game, we literally have like almost everything from my main account. But just like that, we leveled up to level 30. And it's good that we also got Greg, because we're going to need the most mage stuff ever. Right now, all I really need is just like a piece of helmet and armor, and also maybe a solid weapon. And oh, we got Gale Slice and Arcane Barrage. No, those are both warrior spells. And why could I not have been warrior? But defeating the sand golem, we already leveled up again. And yo, legendary, but it's also warrior. Yo, why? Now, to those of you guys who still may not get how this series works, for every single dungeon that we reach, we have to completely switch classes. So for example, in Desert Temple, we were a warrior. So now for the Winter Outpost dungeon, we're gonna have to be a mage. And then of course, Pirate Island, we go back to warrior. So that is why getting all of this warrior stuff is kind of bad. But at least we got like these frozen spell daggers, which I definitely will upgrade, along with probably this helmet and also this armor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are as ready as we probably ever could be. Let's play Winter Outpost. Boys and girls, we finally made it to winter. And honestly, I gotta really lock in because we are just using like Desert Temple trash. I don't know if this will be like too easy or too difficult. I really don't know. If we check out our damage, okay, we do about half their health. I'm pretty fine with that. Yeah, we're mage now, so literally swinging our sword does nothing. But these spells as well have such a short cooldown. I can literally like spam fireballs so hard. Okay, maybe we're better off than I thought we would be. Hey, honestly, I'll take it. And we are just like leveling up every single second. It is insane. Yeah, we are definitely gonna make it to the Pirate Island, if not King's Castle, which is a really crazy first episode. But truly, I love this dungeon. Like, honestly, this is one of the better remakes. Like, just the atmosphere in general is very Enchanted Forest-like. And honestly, I'm excited to see future dungeon reworks in the future. Also, you astute observers might notice I have 1.31 million platinum. Because yeah, unfortunately, it does transfer from my like main character slot. But yeah, I won't be spending any of that in this series. Well, I guess besides on cosmetics, but cosmetics literally do nothing. But we are on like the first boss, the Tundra Chimera. What is that? The Tundra Chimera? I don't know what this boss is. But I've really noticed like the health rework. Like, I have been doing crazy damage. But really, we're 25 levels away. Really, just the enemies in this dungeon are some of the more cool ones. And definitely are similar to like Abyssal Void, which we will be reaching in this series. That's gonna be crazy. Playing Abyssal Void later in this series. Really, this is gonna be a crazy Noob to Godly. But we're on the Ice Elemental, which is the final boss. And this boss is kind of an annoying one, I'm gonna be honest. Really, if you just utilize your range with these spells, you are relatively fine. I'm just mainly hoping that we can get some better mage stuff, preferably like a spell or armor. Because we were just getting like crazy warrior stuff. It was actually depressing. But we leveled up to level 37 and yo, we got mage staff. Hey, let's go. Its damage is kind of trash though. Really, I'm not even gonna go back to lobby because there's no point. We got literal trash. But truly, that is kind of an unfortunate thing about an RNG based game. Literally, you could get like everything else in the other class or absolutely nothing at all. And that is what's gonna make this series particularly difficult. But I'm just excited for Pirate Island because that truly is one of the better dungeons in the game. It's definitely not like top 5 or anything, but that dungeon really does a lot unique. And the thing about that is we'll only have to gain 10 levels rather than having to gain 30 from like Desert and Winter Outpost. And I think we'll be level 40 right here. Okay, nope, we are kind of close. And now we leveled up, which means we are just 20 levels away. way. Honestly, I am already starting to feel that the progression is heavily nosediving, which is kind of unfortunate because really it does not get any better. Desert Temple was the fastest you'll ever see progression. But really for the first, like, I don't know, 7 dungeons, it's not too bad. It's really when we get to volcanic chambers where progression will get absolutely terrible. And that's when I'm going to be so grateful for that 30% boost I get from a character slot. Also, we do got VIP as well, which is going to make things even better. And we got, wait, is that? Yo, we got mage set. Yo, let's go. We got Tundra Mage Cloak. Also, I haven't even checked, but they actually have like a bunch of quests that we completed. So we already got a level there, and that was about the only one we could complete. But let's go and just like upgrade this entire set probably. You know, really sad that we got a legendary, but we can't even use it because it's warrior. But honestly, raid the drip. Like this stuff, it do be looking nice. Yeah, if we ever get like an ugly set, we can always just like equip one of like many cosmetics I got. Literally, I've just been like buying them all from every single shop I've had. But boys, we can officially play medium. Yeah, I really wonder how we're gonna do. And medium, oh, that's not as good. It's still definitely winnable, but it's definitely not as good damage. I think probably getting some better spells would help us a lot, because no chance we can use this for Pirate Island. However, like those Gale Slices that we got will be good, because remember, we're going to be switching back to a warrior. So maybe those spells that I got aren't entirely useless. But you can see like level after level after level. We are just like less than 20 levels away now. Truly, I did not expect progression to be this fast. I knew it would be fast because I've done Noob to Godly. But I kind of want to get into like my goals with this series and what I really plan to do. Now, obviously, I have done this a lot of times before. However, what I want to mainly show is that you can actually progress through this game in 2024/5. Because I don't think we're completing this series this year. And truly, like, progressing through this game is as good as ever. Like, really, leveling up has been way improved. Really, if you guys have played Dungeon Quest in the past, you would know that leveling did not used to be this good. But trust me, progressing through this game, it is very worth it. And while it will be grindy, I hope to show that you really can do it as a completely solo player too. And also, I just think that being a hybrid of both mage and warrior is a really interesting idea. And especially when we get like the legendary spells and stuff, we're gonna have to get like either 2 of them or switch between them, which is gonna add a new level of challenge to the series. And that is also kind of the reason why I am using like game passes and boosts and stuff, because really we do need some form of help with this. Like we cannot be doing all of these different challenges with literally nothing. But of course, I'll never be buying like any items or anything like that. It will just be like purely boosts and stuff. But you guys could see the boss health is getting absolutely absurd. 100,000. I'm doing like 3,000 per hit. Insane. It is legitimately not even funny how much health this guy has, bro. Like 2 minutes straight of attacking him. I thought they fixed this. Well, anyways, we beat the dungeon to get, hey, we got a staff, and also, nah, that's a warrior spell, but hey, I'll take those staff. Also, something kind of cool is that if we reach certain levels, we will actually get some obtainable rewards. Like for level 200, we'll get a legendary title called Noob to Godly, which is, you know, a certain series that we're kind of doing. But this staff is a huge improvement, which is going to help us a lot. Literally 1,000 damage. But again, like these Arcane Barrage, Gale Slice, all of these spells, they're going to help us for Pirate Island when we can once again switch to Warrior. And really in just 4 levels, we can play Nightmare, I guess hard mode, and then we'll be literally done. We'll be at Pirate Island, and bro, things will be crazy. Yeah, I still don't know if we're gonna actually go for King's Castle. I think we will probably just try to hit Nightmare. However, who knows, bro? This episode will really be crazy. But honestly, I hugely prefer Blue Fireball just because it actually is like hitting all of the enemies. Definitely like a direct upgrade towards the regular fire. And I've been kind of saving my daily reward for when we actually hit Pirate Island, just because I think we're probably gonna need the items. And also we got Greg, and bro, that is gonna be so good. Please give me some better armor. One kind of cool thing about Greg is that regardless of if you're mage or warrior, if you just like swing your weapon, you will do a lot of damage. I don't know why it exists, but hey, honestly, free damage is free damage. And that killed Greg to get, oh my gosh, the literal same stuff we got. But what's good about Greg is that in future dungeons, we'll be able to use the materials that he drops. Because yeah, every time you kill Greg, you actually get materials. And yeah, what you can do with those is like craft certain weapons. And those will be good for later dungeons. Also, I think if we like claim this quest, we should get another level. Yup, just like that. Really, quests in the early game are very good. However, later game, they're not so great. Like, especially in higher dungeons, you will not be getting like barely any progression. And like already level 49. Really, I'm just hoping to drop some armor so hard will actually even be doable. Truly, with this gear, I don't even know if we're going to be able to beat the dungeon. And we're back on Ice Elemental, and I hate this boss because of how much health he's got. But it's good because we already have like better stuff, so it's not going to take as long. And hard, I think, will be possible. Yeah, I'm just going to like kill all of these enemies to make sure that we actually level up on this boss. Because it's probably the most annoying feeling to be like so close to leveling up after beating the dungeon. And having to go back and just like do like the first group of enemies, it is brutal. But we leveled up to level 50. And also, oh my gosh, we got literal trash. Wow. Truly, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. But hey, we gotta just attempt hard mode, as difficult as it might be. But before we do that, I want to kind of explain what this says right here, which says 3 out of 3 daily challenges. So in this series, once we hit level 100, we'll actually be able to attempt boss raids. And this will be a huge component of this series. And yeah, we're literally already halfway to that. And we're also halfway to the level 100 lobby, which is gonna be very, very great. Really, level 100 unlocks a lot of things. But trust me, this series will be great, so you definitely want to subscribe. But what won't be great is hard mode right here. And I don't even know if I want to use the Greg's Bounty. I probably will, just so we can get like some decent stuff. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Greg's Bounty pretty much gives you like a guaranteed Greg spawn, when normally he has like, I think, a 33% chance, which is obviously something nice. But our damage to these guys are not good, I'm gonna be honest. We are doing very, very low damage. Really, we gotta like bundle up the enemies. That's gonna be our only hope. In my personal opinion, I've always hated like the difficulty spike from medium mode to hard mode. I think especially as a solo player, Winter Outpost can really be difficult when it's one of the more like beginner dungeons. But truly, this is the strat, just like bundling up all of the enemies. However, even then, it is still just brutal. You can see, like, I am doing fragments of their health. I'm really just waiting for this Greg spawn, cause, dude, if we just need, like, good stuff. And also, since we're in hard mode, we can actually drop legendaries. And just maybe we'll be getting the Mage 1. And there is our Greg, man. If we can't beat him, I'll literally cry. Dude, I just thought of that, of the possibility of us not beating him. We actually got to do like so much damage on this Greg. We cannot lose to this guy. Okay, checking out our damage. It's not great. I mean, we could definitely beat him, but it's gonna be close. Yeah, you ideally want to do half of his health before his health goes back to blue. That is how you know you're doing well. And you can see we did roughly half, which is not bad. Oh, he's so close to dead. Let me finish him. And there we go. Just, yo, we got exactly what we need, bro. Dude, W drop, legendary from Mage. But it's not, why is it not in my inventory? You know what, I don't care, I'm leaving. Bro, Mage and Warrior legendary in one episode is actually crazy. Let's go and upgrade this stuff. And man, look at that damage, 2,700. This is gonna be absolutely free. Sadly, we didn't get anything good outside of the legendary, but man, now we can do hard, and really, this legendary looks nice. This is undoubtedly the luckiest I've ever been in episode 1 of A Noob to Godly. You can also see my damage is going like absolutely crazy. But really, this is way more lucky than I would have ever imagined. All we need is some better armor and we are completely chilling. And just again, we level up to level 52. That is crazy, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, we are up right now. This is a high moment in this series. With 2 legendaries in hand and one of them literally being of this class I actually needed to be. Things are honestly looking nice. But truly, Pirate Island, that is soon. Yeah, I definitely think that if we do not get like a decent Pirate Island set, we will have almost 0 chance of beating that dungeon. We gotta get like the best stuff we could possibly get, because even though the dungeons did get a bit nerfed, they will still be undoubtedly very difficult. And really what further solidifies my point is literally with the legendary. You can see it. My damage is good, but it's not insane. Like, I should literally be like one-shotting the enemies with a freaking legendary. Yeah, it truly shows how difficult this dungeon is for absolutely no reason. And of course, I mean difficult for new players. For like any skilled player, this ain't too hard. But you guys will come to realize I am not that skilled at this game. But we will be improving throughout this series. I think the complete downfall of both Desert Temple and Winter Outpost is really boss health. Like 400k is an absurd amount for a boss. That is like unreasonably high. But man, 7 levels until Pirate Island. Truly, this has been quite the grind. I'm gonna be honest, even with boosts, like this progression is definitely not the fastest thing ever anymore. However, I really wish that all progression was like this. Like truly, if all dungeons had the progression speed of like Winter Outpost, this game would honestly have like 2x the players. I think that the leveling in this game is the main thing that's completely killing it and holding it back from being what it truly can be. Because yeah, realistically, most players do not have the time to grind out this game, nor do they ever want to. Which is why like 99% of people quit before making it to the highest dungeon. And I'm being fully honest with the 99%. That is not a made up number. It is legitimately 99% of people who don't even like make it to the last dungeon. Which just really shows how things are. And yeah, we got Greg, which is also very nice. Maybe he'll give us some armor. But truly, ladies and gentlemen, if we can bring that number down to like 98%, maybe I'll be making an impact on this game. I mean, it's not really the goal of my series to like beat ride this game. But honestly, I do truly love this game. And it has a very sweet spot in my heart. Also, I gotta lock in on this Greg. Oh my gosh, are we gonna lose to Greg? Alright, well, unfortunately, bro, how did I lose to Greg with a legendary? Man, that shows the difficulty of this game. Literally with the legendary, lost to Greg. Yeah, that is just quite depressing. But this is just like pressing Q and E simulator. There is no skill whatsoever. All I'm doing is just like pressing inputs over and over. Ah, I hate boss health in this dungeon. It is so annoying. But trust me, that is one thing that gets better with future dungeons. But after 10 million years, we finally defeated the boss. To get, oh my, yo, another legendary? Oh, literally 3 legendaries in one episode. Dude, that is actually crazy that we pulled another legendary. And we did also get like a guardian helmet, which to be honest is probably better than what I have, which is quite a depressing thought. Now, man, we are just like 6 levels away. Pirate Island is level 60, and we are so close. So truly, let's just do this final stretch and enjoy the last moments of the second dungeon. 2 out of the 17 dungeons currently in the game. We have a long journey, and not really a better place than here to, you know, get a drippy cosmetic combo. And yeah, I'm right now wearing the Winter Outpost cosmetic with a pretty sick enchant. I'm not gonna spam cosmetics too much if like the set matches really well. However, for like ugly sets, I will put on a cosmetic. Yeah, we get like this aura going and we are completely drippy. Yo, we are like the most stacked level 54 player ever. No chance anyone else at my level has this many legendaries. But we leveled up and it's one of our final ones here. And yeah, we are doing quite a bit more damage, which is quite surprising. The literal guardian helmet is making us do like 10 times more damage, which is really sad to think about because my literal legendary didn't do this much. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, guardian, like it is probably better than most of the mage stuff if it's in higher dungeons. The general rule of thumb, if it's from a higher dungeon, regardless of what class it is, it's probably better than what you're currently using. But maybe Greg will give us something. Really, I'm just looking for a mage spell. But defeating Greg gives us... Oh, we got a guardian armor. Hey, I'll take it. And that's probably already better than what I'm currently using. However, I hate that you can't like equip gear when you're in the dungeon. That is so stupid. Now, I want to kind of say that for this series, I'm going to be explaining a lot of stuff in a little bit more detail. What I mean by this is that I know that most of my viewers are actually like players who are lower level. So yeah, I want to kind of teach the mechanics of this game and things that most players wouldn't usually know in this series. You know, you'll kind of get like education while also seeing a Noob to Godly series. But really, my biggest tip for like these first few dungeons is to really just play alone. I wouldn't recommend you go and try to find a team. I'd just recommend that you do everything solo. Until you reach like King's Castle or Pirate Island, you really want to just be learning the mechanics of the game, the ins and out, because that's really what's going to keep you engaged. Because let's be honest, getting carried is probably like the most boring thing ever. However, it is kind of mandatory for later dungeons. And really, it's just 4 levels now. Man. But really, something else that you can also expect to see in this series is trading. We will definitely be doing a lot of trading in this series to get things like legendary spells, ultimates, and stuff like that. Because obviously, trying to drop gear that's appropriate for your class is probably the most stupid and just annoying thing ever. Because like if you grind for something, you will almost never get it, bro. Legit, I will get like half of the guardian pieces, warrior pieces, but never anything in my class. And at this point, I'm just looking to drop like warrior stuff now, because we're gonna be switching very shortly. Yeah, I have to always remember to be like switching classes every single dungeon we reach. But really, the mission is to complete an entire Noob to Godly journey while using both a mage and warrior hybrid build, and seeing if it's possible to do. And with that, we beat the dungeon. To get, yo, we got Guardian Helm. Hey, I'll take it. Wait, no, that's a mage helm. Yo, that's even better. Yeah, since we're gaining a lot more gold per dungeon, we can pretty much just upgrade whatever we want. Yeah, we have pretty much endless money in this series. But truly, it is just a few more games, man. Probably not even a few more, like 2 more games, and we're at Pirate Island. And I assume we'll probably be like 2-shotting the enemies. Oh yeah, easily. So this really will not take as long as you might think. Hard becomes super easy once you can actually get like some decent stuff. Even guardian stuff will do the trick. And I absolutely love the visual look to this armor. It really is some of the best in the game. But 3 more levels, we might actually reach it in this dungeon, which would be literally crazy. But I think when we hit level 60, we're gonna do like 1 round of like Desert Temple or something like that. Actually, probably Winter Hard, but also just get like a Greg bounty, which is gonna allow us to get some Pirate Island gear. This is of course assuming that our daily reward is pretty trash. So yeah, what I'll do like maybe Desert Temple or something, buy a Greg bounty, and get ourselves a lot of Pirate Island gear through doing Greg. But even just the bosses with their absurdly high health are pretty easy now. But it does kind of look weird not having a title, so you know, I'll just put like this devilish title. Really, it does feel nice to have like the advantage of having all of the cosmetics, all of that good stuff. It just makes the game a lot more enjoyable. But really, just like 1-2 more levels, bro. It is crazy. Like the start of next game will be a level up. And we defeated the boss to get, yo, we got good stuff there, but we really don't need it. And that, we also, bro, we literally got piercing raid. I mean, it's good, but we're literally gonna be, bro, we're gonna be switching back to warrior. Hey, I guess we can use this spell for like the last 2 levels. That is so sad that we got this spell at the very end. But you can see this piercing raid spell very easily one-shots enemies. Yeah, this spell is quite literally goated. Bro, literally, I can just like use this stuff and just walk through and just one-shot everything. That is crazy. Man, where was a spell like this when I needed it? But you can see I just use this spell and it instantly destroys everything. Yeah, guaranteed though, this will be the round that we level up. And with that, just 1 more level. And truly, this is where progression will start to take a little bit of a slow. It won't get too slow from Pirate Island. Like, Pirate Island is definitely manageable, but we won't be leveling up like crazy fast. And I think all of you guys probably know that. But even the boss, I literally like 2-shot the boss. That is crazy. Like, legit, watch how I just destroy everything with this spell. I truly love this spell. It has quite a long cooldown, however, I think it is quite literally worth it. Okay, low-key, I might have been wrong about us leveling up. I think we will, but it's gonna be kind of close. But you can, like, literally look, my literal bars of damage per every tick. Also, can y'all just, like, admire the drip? Really, like, this is as drippy as it gets. But with that, the boss is defeated, and I was quite wrong about us leveling up. But we got a mage chest. Hey, that's pretty good. Wait, no, that's a warrior chest. That's even better. Yeah, W drop, to be honest. I'm honestly gonna risk it and use the Greg's bounty. However, I don't know. We have to level up before it actually works. Like, we really need to level up. up. I'm praying that we level up before we get Greg, so we actually get Pirate Island gear. Because if you guys didn't know, you can get gear from future dungeons if you just meet the level requirement. Yeah, Greg, legit, he has no requirements besides you just being the certain level. Come on, level up, and there we go. We are now level 60, which means we can do Pirate Island. And now once we get Greg, we're gonna have a huge head start on that dungeon. But this should be Greg, and yep, there he is. Honestly, I'm probably just gonna leave after killing Greg because I have no incentive to actually play the dungeon. But really now, if I do the Greg fight and I also collect my daily, I have no doubts I will be able to beat Pirate Island. Even to Greg, our damage is quite good. Come on, please give me some good warrior stuff, bro. That's all I want. Give me some war stuff. And we got a warrior helmet, a good warrior ability. Hey, I'll take it. And we also got a blade. Yeah, if we literally just got like some armor, that would be enough to do Pirate Island easily. Let's see, daily reward, give us something good. And we got a molten blade, also a blue helmet. Yo, that's solid. And after upgrading everything that we got, this is the set we get. And while it may not be drippy, it does good stuff. We got like this Pirate Island spell, and we also got Arcane Barrage. Now to save your eyes from this atrocity, I'm just gonna go and equip the Pirate Island cosmetic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's finally play Pirate Island for the very first time. Man, if you look at the map, we are finally in this dungeon. Truly, it took a lot longer than I would have thought, but I think we should definitely be able to beat it. However, it might be difficult. But checking our damage, yeah, we do definitely enough. Yeah, we literally one cycle the enemies. That is perfectly fine. Obviously, the spells have quite a large cooldown. However, I don't think it's too bad. Yeah, this Arcane Barrage especially has such a brutally long cooldown. But it's good that they nerfed all of the health, because that's going to be beneficial. And also, I just realized, yo, we're in spell power. That's why we're not doing much damage. Yeah, let me go and change that. Okay, now our stats are actually good. And you can see, yeah, it is so easy damage. Now, since we reached another dungeon, you know, I took kind of like a beautiful screenshot here. And yeah, for every single dungeon we reach, I'll probably be taking screenshots just to use like for promotional art. But bro, this damage is absolutely crazy. Yeah, hugely beneficial to actually put our points, you know, in the right stat. But we are on Captain Blackbeard, who is the very first boss. And also, who kind of looks like my avatar right here. Really, this boss is not too difficult if you do a lot of damage. Yeah, I know I could say that about any boss, but damage is like the biggest thing ever. The more quickly you can defeat a boss, the less damage you will be taking. Like 99% of my deaths are caused after like the first 3 cycles. But truly, this is drip at its finest. And once we can get some armor, I'll definitely go and use it. Now, normally inside of Noob to Godly, I would go and collect like an Easter egg for every dungeon. Like for example, Pirate Island, there's an Easter egg right here. However, since I am playing on my main account just on an alternate slot, we actually don't even need to do any of that. We already have like all of the dungeon cosmetics, all of the Easter eggs, stuff like that, which does make this series a lot easier. Also, we could just go and like put another point into physical. This is actually crazy. But what's not actually crazy is the Spider Queen, who is one of my least favorite bosses in Dungeon Quest. Yeah, if you guys have watched my previous Noob to Godlies, you would know how much I freaking hate this boss. This boss is pain at its finest. And the reason why I don't like this boss is because she'll actually spawn like enemies. And pretty much what she'll do is like she'll make you get into the corner by doing, yeah, this attack right here. And you literally get trapped with the infected pirates. Good thing that I do damage, however, in the future, that will be quite brutal. Yeah, it legit forces you to just like take damage. Honestly, this is a dungeon which could be very benefited with a rework. Really, dungeons like the Underworld, Pirate Island, and even King's Castle to an extent could use good reworks, which would hugely benefit the game. What's good, again, is that I can use my sword. Really, it is such a cool concept. Switching between mage and warrior, I think that's going to be so much fun. And for King's Castle, we're going to be back at mage, and I'm kind of already envisioning how we're going to do it. And we're on the demonic pirate captain. But if you guys have watched other series, man, you would know I've done an entire series as a warrior and an entire series as a mage. So now it's about time to use both. But you can see we are just doing like crazy damage to this guy. It's not like freaking Winter Outpost where the bosses have like 50 billion health. But just like that, the dungeon has been beat and we're nearly level 62. Just to get absolute garbage. But ladies and gentlemen, I have the second episode of Noob to Godly on the screen for you guys. So definitely go check it out because I think you'll probably like it. And for now, I'll see you guys later.